Hello. So, I've been playing with Pumpkin Patch, and it is so cool. There's a multitude of things. If you thought this was just a border punch or a frame punch, oh my gosh, look what you can do. Watch this. So, first of all, I want to remind you, whenever you get a new punch, you never punch it on your good paper first. You always try it on scrap paper just in case there's some setting oil. So first, I'm going to review with you how to normally use it as a border punch in case you're not familiar with it. So all of our punches have this line right here, but the frame punch also has this silver line. To make it as a border, we're going to use the black line. You want to have a 3-inch strip because that allows it to hang out a little bit. Hey, Mike, I'm going to need a sticky note in a minute. Can you find one for me? So we're just going to line it up on that black line. And then we're going to line it up on top of the pumpkin right here, all the way across. And this makes a very nice border. And the reason I said 3 inches is because, look, if you have less than 3 inches, you can't line it up properly when you put it in. Thank you, Mike. So you can do this with any of our border punches. Nothing new. And you get these guys right here and just cut them off or pull them off. Not a big deal. Now, normally I would tell you, I'd say, listen, all this stuff that got punched out, throw it away. But for this, I'm going to tell you otherwise. Look, there's a little pumpkin or maybe an apple. There are little pretty leaves. Oh, and look at these pretty swirls. So don't throw these away. Put them in a Ziploc bag. Put them in a little case. This is good punch poop. All right. So you can have lots of things that you can decorate your pages with. All right. So now I'm going to lay that on a 3-inch border. Oh, by the way, this is tangerine and this is hot fudge. They are two of the cardstock colors that go with the Autumn Harvest collection. Now, let's say that you wanted to do something different. You see how the pumpkins are all in a line? They're all angled. So watch this. We're going to take another 3-inch strip and we're going to punch it just like we did the first one. Line it up with the black line. And you can go left to right, right to left. For me, I'm right-handed. So going to the left is more intuitive for me. But there's those little silver lines. It's the same all the way through. So it doesn't matter. As long as you start on the black line for this or on the silver line for the frame punch, it works. All right, so we've now just created the same thing we did before, but watch this. I don't want you to flip it. I want you to rotate it, okay? Come all the way around, rotate. If you flip it, you won't get the right results. And instead of starting on a line, I want you to flip it over. Put this right up here where you can see it. See the paper? I'm going to line it up so it's right at the edge of the frame. And I'm going to hold my hand here. I am not going to punch when it's like this, because if I do, all that little punch poop all falls down into the punch. So roll it over. Hold and punch. Hold on. And punch. Then flip, put it in, line it up down on this and down here. and punch. Again, flip. Bear with me because it's very cool when it's done. Punch. And every time you just line it up with a different edge. Ah, see what I did that time? I didn't flip it over. My bad. As soon as I punched, I knew it. Flip. And let's do the final punch. I don't want that debris to fall down in there. Okay, now you see how you have it's every other one. The two apples are together. The two stars are together. Two apples are together. Two stars are together. Except on that one, I goofed up. So that's kind of a cool thing. Now, what I should have done was to do it every other way on both sides. I apologize. So you do it every other way on both sides. And if you want a double border, which is why I asked him for the sticky note, let me show you what you can do with that. Okay, this is why I asked the boss for a sticky note. Here, we'll just do it on this one. Remember we had this 3-inch one that we punched? Now, when I go to put it in on the line, look, I can't see the center. So you take a sticky note, put it right here. That gives you your initial line up. Line your sticky note up right here on the edge. You can line your sticky note up with the black line. And after that, line up your pumpkins. And you're all set. And then when we're done, we just take that pretty little sticky note and throw it away because we don't need it anymore. But what's really pretty about this, throw away that sticky note. Look at those pretty swirls that interact, almost interlock with each other. Aren't those pretty? So I love this punch. Now, I know you all know how to use the frame punch, but let's have a review. All right, 12 by 12. Now, I have always told you, you have to use an even paper. And we're going to do that. But let's do the 12 by 12 first. I'm going to show you something, and then I'll go back and show you how to use uneven paper. So we're going to line it up on the silver line. Now the punch is 1 inch. Ready to get, and this little square here is 1 inch. So we're going to take 2 inches off the 12, so you'll be able to punch 5 times. Sorry, math. 3, 4, 5. Now we've got the tab. Put your tab on the silver line. You can save these to decorate with. They make great things to put letters on or to sprinkle on a border. And every time we get to the end, there's going to be a tab. Or handle, whatever you want to call it. And by the way, only use Faded Memories paper. Our punches are not guaranteed when you use a different brand of paper, especially glitter paper. Some papers are way too thick and you will void your punch warranty. So make sure you use our paper or our cardstock. I don't want you to spend money and mess up your punch. This is like watching paint dry, huh? All right. One more on this side. And I like to move the punch poop aside because you don't, if it gets too bulky underneath, it doesn't like to punch. Too much debris. All right. A couple more punches and I'm going to show you why I'm doing this. Now I have taken and done this and put one photo on the page. If this doesn't fall off, just pull it off. And I've journaled and it has looked great. But let me show you what else you can do. What if you had your 12-inch, then you did a 10 by 10, maybe put a photo on, or an 8 by 8, a 6 by 6 would be great with a photo. You could even go down to line it up, a 4 by 4 if you wanted to. Don't you love the layering? Isn't that nice? So you don't have to say, oh, I can only punch out one mat. You can layer them and it is spectacular. I love it. Now, another thing is I've tried a 4 by 2. So you could take and even do a couple of these in the corners for accents. So that's kind of a cool thing. Now, what if you took a 6 by 8 piece and punched it and then put a mat on it? This is a 4 by 6 mat. Trim your photo down a little bit and you can do that. So that's kind of a cool thing. Then the last thing I want to show you is we're going to use this piece of blue paper. This is from the new Autumn Harvest collection. And I'm going to cut this so it is an 11-inch square. So I always tell you, those of you that know me, I always say, you have to cut it in even numbers. Well, what happens if we cut it in an uneven number? Let's try that. What if, right? So, an inch off on this side. Rotate. Remember, when you're only doing an inch on the trimmer, you put it in so your long end is here, so you have something to grab onto. Because otherwise, if you do it this way, and you're cutting an inch off here, you have nothing to grab onto. There's nothing over there. So always put it in like this if you only have inch, inch and a half. A lot easier to work with. Okay. Now we have an 11-inch square. If I can remember how to do this, we'll be doing really good. Okay, if I remember correctly, I want to show you. See, I did do it earlier. Let me look at my notes. Start on silver line. Okay, this is start on silver line, which is right here. All right, that doesn't make sense to me, but let's do it. All right, so we're going to punch across at 11. Oh, I think I know what's going to happen. If this turns out, we can all celebrate. If it doesn't, I'll learn it again and reteach it. See, you too can make mistakes and be a CM advisor. You do not have to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, there. Now we've got one side. Now, let me think. All right, flip it over. And yes, this is hard to see. I know. You have to work a little bit harder to line it up. Now, if you look on the color wheel, blue and orange are complementary colors. So if you notice the blue and orange paper stripes, that's why. And this is why I'm punching out of blue and putting it on the pumpkin cardstock. I did it. I'm so proud of myself. So here is the finished product. And you could put this like that at the top, at the bottom, over like that. I kind of like it on an edge. All right. And then you can rotate that edge any way you want to. So at the bottom, off to the side, up at the top. So that is the Pumpkin Patch Punch. Boy, that's a mouthful, right? So I hope you enjoyed. And if you don't have it, I want you to call me and order it right away because it is so cool. I'm sure that Creative Memories doesn't know how fast this is going to go. And if you come to the crops on the 15th to the 16th, we're going to be playing with it and I'll review these techniques and let you try it. So that's all for now. Have a great night.